Good afternoon to all. We are moving to English again. Yasmina, João, thank you very much for being here. As everybody saw this morning, we are witnessing in Portugal younger generation buying more books. And publishers and booksellers see this rise coming also and mainly because of TikTok. And my first question for you, Yasmina, we thought that TikTok was a platform for music and comedy. So why this impact on book selling?
Thank you for inviting me first, Apel. It's really a pleasure to be here. It's actually talking about Book Talk is our second time in Lisbon. We've just been in June in the book fair in Lisbon, so it's really a pleasure to come back. Basically TikTok is an entertainment platform, a content platform, and it's true that when it started there was a lot of dancing, a lot of entertainment, a lot of comic and funny, let's say, videos, but it really has evolved. And it has evolved in a way in which there is a very diverse content, and one of the key pillars of this content is really literature, and is really book talk, which we are going to talk about a bit later. And it's basically also finding educational content. And this is really, I would say, something quite intrinsic to the platform, which is creativity and authenticity. This is really the language of the platform. And nowadays we have creators like Maria and many other individuals that come to share their passion and their interest to connect with the community in TikTok.
Maria João, how did you arrive to TikTok and why with books?
Okay, so I first installed TikTok when COVID started because I had a lot of free time, and that's when I was introduced to Book Talk. It was much smaller than it is right now. I think I followed probably 3 Portuguese book talkers, and I didn't start making content right there. I just enjoyed watching because I wanted to, choose new books that were being recommended by someone that was closer to my age than I used to see on television and all of that. And I started making videos on Book Talk, I think maybe around a year ago, because I loved watching it so much. And I love reading so much, and I thought, why not? Why should I not start talking about books? Well, to myself at first.
So basically TikTok enhanced your reading experience?
Yes.
And it was a way also to speak with peers, with other people of your age,
yes,
and share experiences, to find new books, exactly what are you looking for, and then how from there, as a user, you jumped to a content creator.
So I started by commenting on other people's TikToks talking about books, because sometimes they read a book that maybe I didn't enjoy that much, but they did, and I wanted to know why they enjoyed it, because there's always 2 sides to things, and we can love a book, and the people next to you might not like it. And it's very interesting to have that discussion. And I couldn't have that with my friends because I had maybe 2 friends that read. And I think that with COVID and being closed down made very obvious that there were so many people on the internet willing to talk about books. So I started by commenting on other book talkers' videos. And it eventually just came to a point where I wanted to give my opinion that was more explored than just a comment on someone else's video. So I made my first video. I think it was probably me opening a package of a book. And it was just me showing that I got that book. And on that first video, I remember that I had someone that commented and said, "Oh, I really want to know what you think about that book once you read it." And I thought that was so interesting, because I don't think you start making videos thinking that people want to know what you think about books. But the fact that I got that one comment just made me want to share what I thought about the books I was reading. And right now I get so many texts from people asking, oh, have you read this book? What did you thought of it? I get so many comments. I say, oh, I really liked this book. And someone goes, oh, I didn't like it, but I didn't like it because of this. And we get to see so many points of views from the same book, and we get to know so many different books that I don't think I would know about them if it wasn't for Book Talk.
Yeah. And why books? Why not movies? Why not music? Why not discussing about other things? Why specifically you're talking about books? Again, we saw and we think that TikTok is a really powerful drive in book sales. And that means, and we've listened during all the morning, you know, we are competing for time, for people's time. So why books and not another kind of format?
Okay, so books were a big part of my life pretty much since I was born, because my mom is a big reader, and she always read to me when I was little, and when I started to learn to read, they were always a part of my life. They never left. I think that when I was in middle school, we get that idea that it's not cool to read. And it is very cool. We get to experience so many things when reading a book. But in middle school, I would read like a book a month, maybe, and I would not tell anyone that I was reading that book because I was ashamed. And that's not something we should be ashamed of. Like suddenly, it was boring that I wanted to read a book on my school break. And it does not make sense at all. So I really like content creating, and I thought that if I wanted to do something that I like, I should talk about something that I like too. So I chose books, and I think it's very important that we show younger people that it's not boring to read, it's not lame, it's actually really cool, and it's very important.
Yasmin, is this a trend? Is something that will endure?
Well, we started to see it as a trend already a couple of, let's say, years ago, but in the sense that now we see this is a catalyst for the book industry, and it's really changing in many ways, as you were also mentioning, right? Like we can see bookstores or book talk corners in bookstores, sales rising, new blood from the industry, no? Because, for example, something that happens a lot is that maybe authors that are classic authors can become again on trend, but also it's a new opportunity and a new window for emerging authors, no? We have also Poeta de Cidade in TikTok, so this is really TikTok is a discovery and an inspiring window that, as in the case of Maria, it's also the way to connect with other people that are already in the platform. And I would say, how do you explain this phenomenon? It's also because entertainment is a key part of TikTok. So when you are entertained, let's say we are more open, no? to receive information, to learn, to keep motivated, and this can be explained also for the book talk phenomenon. And also people like Maria or other content creators have a lot of influence right now in the younger generation, no? So if we want to inspire reading, it really makes sense, and we can explain it in this way, that this is because content creators and because of the entertainment part of the platform. Just to give you a number, like BookTok Portugal, the hashtag has been growing a lot of views. Right now has like 112 million views, almost. And it's really a growing trend that now we can see it not only the platform, but also we've been in the Lisbon Book Fair. We are truly believing that we can match and put a bridge between our, let's say, online world and also the offline world. And we've been also collaborating in Madrid, in Turin, in other book fairs. And like reading has no boundaries, and we think that TikTok in this sense has no boundaries, in the sense that we are also a global company. And this is really about interest and connecting with people that have the same passion.
Let's go for a while to the dark side. because TikTok also arises a lot of concern. We're talking about data protection. We are talking about how this platform can use the information that is gathering for other purposes than to enrich users' experience. What's your view on that? Because in the European Union, we are seeing a lot of movements, even in the United States, a very skeptical approach of the TikTok platform. So how do you see this?
I see this like there is really, first, our efforts on transparency and accountability are very big, and I'll tell you after why. But the first thing, I think there is a lot of myths of what's TikTok and what's not, truly speaking. And to be honest, like TikTok is an international company, and that exists in China. It's true, and our holding company is called ByteDance, and it's been founded by Chinese entrepreneurs. But really, this is the beginning of TikTok, when ByteDance started, and then TikTok started. And right now we operate in more than 150 countries, like Japan, Mexico, Norway, all over the world. And also our international board, it's, let's say, very much divided between Singapore, United States, and Ireland. This is just to provide you our company governance, because it's really a global company, an international company. Talking about compliance and talking about regulation, we know, of course, this is something very characteristic of Europe, and we want to be there. We really welcome all the legislation, and we want to be part of the political and public policy debate. So, for example, the Digital Services Act, this is something that we have very much welcomed. Actually, we've been working for 1 year. Around 1,000 people have been working internally on how to provide more transparency to the community on our advertisement, on our content moderation processes. And basically, we've just published a press release on that to really explain all the new features that our TikTok product experience will have. But of course, complying with legislation is there, no? It's the mandatory, and we want to go beyond. And this is what we are doing with our data security and protection. So basically, we really want to give trust and accountability and transparency on what and how we are protecting our users' data. I'm talking about Europe now. And this is why we have launched Project Clover. Project, it's basically our data sovereignty strategy, which it's really about locating data in European soil. And we have opened data centers in Ireland, 2, and 1 in Norway. And the idea is not only physically storing data, but also to guarantee security controls. We'll have a third-party independent European company that will provide access and will guarantee that access controls are preserved. And also we will, as part of this data access, of course we have TikTok engineers that need to access data, because otherwise we wouldn't be able to provide a great user experience and innovate as a product. And this data minimization internally is also something that we want to do. All this because we consider we are one of the youngest platform, let's say, maybe one of the youngest platform especially when I'm talking in this industry, digital and audiovisual industry. But we believe that what we are doing is really, everything that we're doing on data security and protection is something best in class on the investment and on the heavy processes that we are building, and the idea is to continue on that way.
Maria João, this is something that concerns you when you talk with your peers. Do you discuss these other sides of TikTok, or you just focus on the positive sides of the platform usage?
No, we do discuss the negative sides too. Not much as to data protection, but more to what we share of our lives. My mom always made me very, very aware of what I was sharing. Like, I could not share the outside of my house, the view from my window, because that's something that with the internet comes the lack of privacy. But I think that, at least from with the people that I talk to, we are all very aware of our own privacy, and we try to only share really what we want to share, because I do share little bits of my life, but it's mostly about books because I feel like there's less danger there if I'm only showing a book instead of my entire life, because we never know what people can find from a little view from our window.
Yeah. Yasmina, just to finish it off, how do you see the publisher's role in the TikTok interaction? How do you see publisher take all these positive aspects that TikTok are doing? There are partnerships that they can do with you. Of course, a lot of them are doing and working with the content creators. But how do you see the interaction between trade publishers and TikTok, and how, for example, the Portuguese publishers could take advantage of all these trends and positive movements?
So yeah, as this started as a trend, but now it's a thriving community with a lot of contributors. And when I say contributors, I say booktokers that now are reading ambassadors, are book ambassadors really, and also people that love books, and also publishers. I think I can also talk about examples of Spain. We have many different, like Planeta and so on, that are already on our platform. And the idea is that, as we've been also, for example, in the Madrid Book Fair, they came to a roundtable that we were organizing this way, and this is something they see it inspirational, because one, it's a new window, it's a different language format in which they can approach their audience. And also there is something particular to TikTok, is that you don't necessarily see in your For You feed what you interest. So, for example, I've never read a book, I've never looked anything related to a book, but it can appear in my For You feed something related to books. So it's really approaching the audience you already have, or the target, but it's also reaching a new audience. So I think this part, and also the perception of book, entertainment, books, inspiration, discovery, I think these are attributes that really go along TikTok, and I think this is a great opportunity for other publishing industries like Leia or like Bertrand that could be there.
Good. Maria João, as a content creator, what can you share with us? I will not ask you for your secrets, your trade secrets, of course, but at least share with us, with people that want to be a content creator, wants to use TikTok to leverage their reading habits and to find new books. What do you advise to your generation to use TikTok in that way?
Okay, I think that the most important thing on using TikTok is following people that you identify with, because there is book talkers for every taste. Like, we don't all read the same. We do read a lot of the same books, but we don't read all the same books. We have different tastes, and there is at least one book talker out there that will match the taste from the person who's using BookTok to search for books. And I think that they are using more and more BookTok as a platform to choose new books, because number one, it's a growing platform. We see that every day, not only in the followers that we are gaining right now, because we are seeing a very big growth, but also on the people that start making videos. And I feel like the people that are starting to make videos and recommending books, like the new accounts that show up on my For You page, are a lot of younger people. And I think that's really good, because I'm 23. I don't usually read books that are for 13, 14 years old. And I do get a lot of messages and commentings asking for recommendations for someone who's 10, 11, 12 years old. And although I've read when I was that age, there are so many amazing books out now that I did not get the chance to read yet, because they're not on my age right now. So I think it's very cool to see younger people starting to be there too and recommending books. And asking us for recommendations because, again, when we start posting videos, I don't think we start posting thinking that someone is going to look up to us and choose a book because we told them to. But I think I can talk for every content creator that's in this room right now. We get daily texts, messages asking for new books for them to read, or we get messages saying, I got this book because of you, and it's now one of my favorite books I've ever read. And I checked my statistics before coming here because I thought it was very interesting that the younger audience was buying more books. 64% of my 9,000 followers I have right now are younger than 24 years old. So we are getting younger people to read, and I think that younger people are on TikTok because it had a boom. And because it's cool to read right now, we get to influence people, children, to read books, and that's really cool. And I think it's very important that they can also share their recommendations, even if it's just through a comment on our videos.
Yeah. Yasmina, one final quick question. Do you think that being a content creator on TikTok can be a full-time job, a full-time paid job?
Well, I think many times this comes like from an interest, no, and a passion. Of course, there are very different cases and so on. But I do think, and also this is something that we have in TikTok, we have brands and we have other advertising formats, right? So either there is room for content creation, as Maria, and building your community. And also there is, for example, if you have a proper industry, or I mean, if you have your own job or enterprise, you can also use TikTok maybe to do promotion. So it really depends. I mean, it really depends the interest that any person can put on TikTok, right? It can be connecting with the community, but then if you have for example, there is a lot of content of handcrafts. And so if really this is your platform to reach your audience or even new audiences, this can be also a way, no, to live. And also there is everything related to, well, collaboration with brands, that this is something that can also be part. Content creation, this is really, and the role of the influencer is really a growing trend, I would say, or a paradigm. Mm-hmm. And even us, we are also learning with this new path because it's a new profile, let's say, in the digital environment. But yeah, overall, there are many opportunities that content creators can get from TikTok, and for us, many times they are also ambassadors of our own brand, of our own platform, because they are the ones that they best understand our language.
Mm-hmm. Yasmina, Maria João, thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.